Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters community, is brought to you by Handy Quilter, designed by a quilter for quilters. Sulky, express yourself with Sulky and create with confidence. Brother, it's so easy with Brother at your side. And Quilt Cut, easy fabric cutting for quilters.
Hi, and welcome to Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters community. I'm Lori Baker. With me today is Sam Albright, inventor, artist, and president of Alto's Easy Mat. Sam is going to teach us a little bit more today, a little bit more complex things that we can do with the Easy Mat. I am a speed sewer and I absolutely am impressed with how quickly I can cut and do some fun things. So Sam, let's see what we got.
Yeah, it's the Quilt Cut 2 is what we're using today. So our company is Alto's Easy Mat because we make mat cutting tools for picture framing as well. And the Quilt Cut 2, let's just kind of go over the basics here. It's a work table, like a drafting table that has a cutting mat on it. And the cutting guide, which is your ruler that you'll cut against, slides up and down on these rails here again. And you can really make cutting a lot easier with this. And it's really fast, like you were saying.
Fast and accurate.
Fast and accurate. You use a rotary cutter with it, and I've just got the standard old Olfa cutter. And what I'm going to do is pull up some fabric here, and I've got a couple of layers stacked up, two different fabrics. And I'll pull it right underneath this clamp bar right here. The clamp bar goes up and down, and it helps hold your fabric when you have a larger piece. We've got about a yard here, and first you'll be cutting off from those larger pieces. So we'll slide it right underneath the clamp bar, and that helps hold it in place. And I'm going to line this edge up. We have to fold these correctly again. Let's line these edges up right up in one of our vertical lines. We've got a vertical line on the mat. And the mat is lined up to the straight edge. So everything is in alignment, whether you're cutting this way or you're cutting this way. It keeps everything square and accurate while you're cutting. And of course we can do the angles, and that's what we're going to do here. So let's cut some strips. I think I'll cut these at 3 inches. And what I'm going to do here is use my speed gauge, which slides in and out here, and I line it up on this little pointer right here. And that's in alignment with my straight edge. So I'm measuring the width of the strip here using the speed gauge, and if I line that up at 3 inches, I can cut 3-inch strips. Let's grab our rotary cutter and we'll true up this upper edge. We've got some ragged cuts here, so let's make sure we get a nice straight edge to start with. And you hold your hand out here a little bit out on the straight edge. You don't really have to walk it when you're cutting all along there, but the end of the ruler is held on the side rail, and it'll work right or left-handed. So it keeps the straight edge from slipping and sliding. If you've ever had a ruler slip, that's one of the reasons why we invented this, the quilt cut. Keeps everything nice and straight. Let's cut some 3-inch strips here, and I'll line this up just like that. And I'll just cut a couple of strips. Then we'll slide this out of the way. Go ahead and take that over there, Lori. Now I'm going to offset these strips a little bit because I want to cut a few diamonds out of here. So I'm just going to line that up on my straight edge, and I'll flip the straight edge down here onto the clamp bar. And you always want to have that clamp bar down when you're cutting. The head here has a little spring latch, and that releases the straight edge. So you've got all these different angles that you can set it at. And I'm going to use the 60-degree angle right here. So we've got 60 degrees, and that's the straight edge is 60 degrees, and that'll be the perfect angle to cut diamonds. Let's cut that edge off, move it over.
And your speed gauge is still measuring the width that you're cutting.
Exactly. In the Quilt Cut 2, the speed gauge actually turns with the straight edge.
Right.
That's a really incredible feature, a new kind of feature that people can use to measure at any of the angles that it's set at. There's really no other tool that allow you to do that. So there's diamonds. Let's just cut 3 sets of these. And this is 4 layers of fabric. People are cutting 6 or 8 layers of fabric regularly, and it's real easy to do that. Let's move this out of the way. And now these diamonds, let's just flip some of these over and show you kind of the accuracy here for, say, a tumbling block, that kind of thing. You might use it for that. Or
a Lemoyne star.
Yeah, we've got a Lemoyne star here. Let's see if we can flip that around. And so you've got that accuracy of cutting. And you still have to put it together, and it's still fabric, right?
Absolutely.
And you build in your seam allowances and everything. And you can cut different sizes and everything. So let's do something else that's a little bit kind of along the same lines, but we'll grab some more fabric here and slide that under the clamp bar again. I've got a couple of large pieces here. And we're doing the exact same thing. I've got this folded correctly, line it up on one of the vertical lines. And because that basic thing is to cut strips off of larger pieces. These strips could be wide or narrow, whatever you need.
The beginning of most any quilt block is cutting strips.
Exactly. So this one we're going to go out to 3 inches again, and we just need a couple of strips here that'll be at 3 inches. So we've got several layers of fabric stacked up, and we just need some 3-inch strips. Now these strips we will use to, here, go ahead and take that out. We'll put those right together. So we've got this kind of fabric here, and we're putting these together in a strip piece type of project. Let's grab this one. Now there's a sample of these strips all put together, just like we just cut. And we've got our 3-inch strips, and I've already sewed these together with black thread so we can see it.
Exactly.
So we've got our 3-inch strips on the sides, and those were just like we just cut. And this is a 2-inch strip in the center. And I'm going to fold these right over here, and I want to make sure that these are really lined up correctly. So we line these up so we've got those strips really lined up. And then I'll put them right underneath the straight edge and line them up horizontally like this, and use my straight edge right along those seams to make sure that I've got these lined up. So I want to show you how to just subcut these. I've got those pretty good right there. Then we're going to go back over to our 60-degree angle. And we've got the set cut. Let's see. I think I'll move this up just a little bit. Sometimes you have to move it around on your cutting mat, and that's just fine. You want to have it right where you can cut it easily. Let's go back over to 60. Now I can get right down to this corner. And I'm subcutting all the way right across that. I've got my speed gauge still set at 3 inches, so I'm going to cut a set of these strips all put together, cutting right through there. There's one set, another set, and we could just keep cutting and cut all those that we need. Let's pull these out of the way, and I'll just park this back here. Now you can see we've got our subsets cut, and these are ready to go in the machine. You might have to turn the seam allowance there and press that out, but these are all ready to go like this. Let's grab those other samples that are all sewn together, and you can rearrange these in different patterns, of course. So we've got these all ready to go into the machine, and then when you sew these together, you can offset these in different ways. You could turn this way to get a double length there, and then do a zigzag. And then once you put all those sets together, we get something that could be a placemat or a table runner, or you could use a whole bunch of them and do a whole border around a quilt.
Or a strip quilt.
Or a strip quilt, right? And then you can even use the quilt cut to true up and square up those edges right on the machine too.
Oh.
So you really use the quilt cut for all kinds of different things.
And the design potential is
Yes, it's
awesome.
unlimited. Right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sam.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. I'm excited to get back to the studio and start playing. And thank you for joining us. We had a good time today. Check out the Altos Quilt Cut. It's great fun to play with.
Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters community, is brought to you by Handy Quilter, designed by a quilter for quilters. Sulky, express yourself with Sulky and create with confidence. Brother, it's so easy with Brother at your side. And Quilt Cut, easy fabric cutting for quilters.